But Jenny, talk a little bit about the state of influencers and bloggers, and because a lot of our audience probably has no idea about this world.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. I think back when I started blogging again in 2005, I feel like there were 7 of us. And
the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah. And and
those bloggers.
Right. And you could write anything and there were inside jokes. And then after a time, it started to get to where someone at church would come up to me and say, I read what you wrote. And I thought, I did not write that for you. And,
Wow. Whoops.
Yeah. And so it's been fascinating to watch this evolve, right? Because you've got bloggers and then you've got, then you move on. I mean, with the audio, with podcasters and with video.
Sure.
Video is where it is right now. Yeah. And the content, I mean, and that anyone can do it is true. That anyone can make a career out of it is not. and there are, I mean, bless everybody for real, because you have to like anything else, if you're intentional about it, like, why are you doing it? Are you doing it to make an impression on someone? Then bye. If you're yourself, then welcome. Like, have a seat. Let's talk. But if you're doing it for likes, no, sorry. That's not why we're here.
That's true.
I only do this because it's the only way people will come to my house. I literally, otherwise I just be sitting
home teachers and us, right?
I'd be sitting and watching basketball. Otherwise, by myself in my pajamas. My life is very sad. I think that's great perspective, because it's funny to watch how many people come into the influencer world and get out very fast.
Yes, of course.
Because I think they're seeking something out of it and are probably not getting it. I joke, the reason I really love this podcast is because of this.
Yeah.
The rest of the week, and when I get messages from people saying, hey, this touched my heart or whatever, wonderful. But this is what I love. It's a very selfish endeavor. Yeah. I'm not actually recording right now.
Amazing.
I don't even have a podcast. So when we say influencers, I mean, a lot of our audience probably doesn't know what the influencers are. But John, do you want to talk a little bit about what Articulate is?
You bet.
And what it does, and
you bet.
What influencers are?
Absolutely. So, back in the day when we were young in the 80s and the 90s, even into the early 2000s, you had your traditional broadcast media like television, radio, and billboards and things like that. Those still exist, but with the advent of the internet, now you have personal brands like a Lindsey Sterling, a David Archuleta, piano guys now, who literally reach more people than a lot of traditional mediums. And so the question is, since we're all broadcasters now, we can all be broadcasters with blogs, vlogs, YouTube channels, social media.
Sure.
So the question is, how do you harness that? How do you take somebody's personal brand that's an influencer, tie that to a more traditional brand like the church, and sync those two up, yoke those two together? So at Articulate, what we do is we look for those people. We have a vetted list of about 800 bloggers and influencers that we work with that are either members of the church or friends to the church. They're not members, but friendly to our cause. And we just find the best way to, again, tie their brand to the brand of the church and get things out there. And the reason why you do that is, especially with the church, right? If you were to walk down the street and you see 2 missionaries or Jehovah's Witnesses walking down the street, a lot of people go to the other side, make a beeline for the other side of the sidewalk and try to avoid them. But, there's an institutional approach to that where people know what you're trying to do. But if you, again, yoke it to the brand of an influencer, especially if you tie it with service, like Light the World or something, that is so much more authentic. It's so much more real, and people can take the trust that brand or that influencer brings, and that's tied to the church, and we can kind of ride in the wake of whatever they bring. So that's the goal, and you can reach outside I call it the Mormon echo chamber. We talk to ourselves a lot, and social media, with the algorithm, you like things and you start seeing the same circle of friends because so many people are trying to get into your news feed and they know what to feed you. So this is a way for us to break out of that Mormon echo chamber.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And Articulate, to be clear, is a separate agency that the church hires and works with
right
to get these messages out. And some of the ways that Articulate works is with these influencers, but then also getting out these campaigns like Light the World and working to get the word out. What I found fascinating was when, I went to the one event. That's my entire experience.
Great.
I am the least influential influencer.
You're great. We love Sean.
There's a bottom of the barrel of influencers. I have officially influenced 6 people in my life. But the point being, I went to the one influencer event. What was fascinating to me was meeting all these people, and I'm a blogger. I have a YouTube channel, and it wasn't necessarily LDS. She's in her apron. Is the YouTube channel?
Oh yeah.
That she just gives a lot of home tips because she's got kids at home.
Yep.
Has a huge following. She's great.
Yep.
But all these disparate, I'm a singer, I'm an actor, I'm a whatever. We're all bringing our talents. You talk about the gospel. I mean, there is scripture after scripture that talks about this, about bringing your talents, and we have a way to bring it forward like no other. So, question for either of you. If we've got listeners who think, hey, I would love to be blogger, YouTube channel, whatever, and build the kingdom, what's the advice? What should they do? Forget about it or move forward?
Why? Why do you want to do that?
I think that's a great question, though. I really think that's a great question.
I mean, because, to John's point, there are people like David Archuleta. I mean, this kid was on American Idol. He's legit a good singer. He's legit a good kid. Yeah. He's 26.
Yeah, he looks like he's
fine. I know.
He's awesome.
But, but I mean, his audience is not solely Mormon.
Not at all.
And so for him, it's just kind of and like John said, it's a good match because it's on brand. So exactly, like why do you want to do this? Why do you want to be a blogger? Great. You want to be an Instagram superstar? Okay, you have a YouTube channel. Okay, why are you doing what you're doing? What are you good at? So I think some good advice is to know what you're good at. Like if what you're good at is you think you want to be whatever family's YouTube channel you like to watch, you know what? That's their thing. You be you.
That's such good advice.
Because the value comes in, like, no matter what, broadcasting, the value comes in authenticity. And so if you know who you are, and if who you are is, well, I'm on a journey to find out who I am, then have that be your thing. Yeah. But if part of that includes missionary work in whatever way, and that's the thing too that I've loved about this realm that John and I shared even before we were friends, is that I am very uncomfortable with the idea of traditional missionary work. Oh my gosh. Ew. But you know what? Put a microphone in front of my face and let's talk about what it means to live the gospel. Or so you know great. What? I heard a great conference talk, so can I write this post about it? That is for me, that's good. And I think that kind of extends to a lot of people for whatever medium they're familiar with and comfortable with using. So yeah, I'd say know who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it.
And what you're good at.
Yeah.
Know what you're good at, because otherwise people won't jump on with you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If I started a YouTube singing channel, no.
That's not going to happen.
That would not work.
Sean, that's interesting. But I also think it's important that we redefine maybe what influencer is. When, I mentioned David Archuleta and Lindsey Sterling, the piano guys, these are large reach vehicles, if you look at the brand. But where we have the most impact when we talk about sharing the gospel, like Jenny just did, it's that circle of influence we have that's in that first orbit around us, right? It's not the 12th orbit out like Lindsey hits or something. This is so be authentic. I love that. That's absolutely true. Be transparent. Be yourself. But we often talk about it at Articulate and Bonneville Communications. Share moments, not messages. When we talk about the gospel, sometimes we get preachy. Sometimes we see ourselves maybe in a hierarchical structure above